Hey, and welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Fantasy Football Podcast. My name's Huck Breeze, and I'm joined here once again by Scott Sheddick. Scott, happy Thursday. How are you?
Happy Thursday, sir. I am good. I am doing well. Obviously today's 9/11, so I think we should
hmm
always never forget and pay our respects to the tragic events that happened that day. But I am doing well, and I'm excited for week 2 to start. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, 9/11 is just always
Mhm.
linked with sports. You know,
It happens.
you think back to NFL Week 2, 2001. Obviously, this was before our like NFL obsession days, but they were talking about whether they should play games or not, and all this sort of stuff. George Bush throwing out the baseball in Yankee Stadium, and all that sort of stuff. It just inexplicably linked. And tonight we had a football game, and yeah, we can just kind of parlay that into what are you watching. For me on 9/11, it's tradition every single year. I watch every single documentary. So it was a super tragic event. It's awful what happened 24 years ago now, but
Wow.
the heroes and the events tracked minute to minute. You know, it's fascinating to me how things have happened or how things transpired. It's fascinating to me to know the people, the everything, and you learn every single year watching these things, reading articles, looking at stuff. You learn something new. Today I learned there was actually a third tower that fell, not a tower, but a building
Mhm. Yeah, after the,
that
the first two collapsed, it was just so much shockwave and things like that. They had to take it down for safety, I think.
no, it fell
Or
later in the
uh,
afternoon. It was
that's
Building
what I was.
7. They had already evacuated everybody, so nobody died
Mm,
because of that. But if you look
that's
up
what it was.
Building
Yeah, they were
7,
able to evacuate everybody. Yeah.
yeah, because it was hours after, but it just couldn't withhold everything that had fallen on it and all the structural damage.
Riddle
Um,
me this: do any of the documentaries talk about what exactly happened at the Pentagon? Because I feel like that's always been a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are eyewitness accounts of people. There's, interviews with people who were at the Pentagon there. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not the same kind of footage because what kind of footage are you going to have? There's footage of the plane hitting, but it's very grainy and very whatever. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but obviously there are people who pass away at that spot. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
um,
I just
yeah,
feel like it's not talked about as much. Obviously, the towers being the towers taking
yeah.
the kind of the front, the lot of the attention there, but that did happen as well at the same
No,
time. Yeah.
there's a documentary where somebody was in a meeting at the Pentagon. Building hits, big hole. They see big hole. They go outside. They feel like they're dying. Everything's on fire. They see people
Yeah.
who are passed away. Like, I mean,
Yeah. It's awful.
it's a crazy event, and I don't know. I guess there's a piece of me that true crime and
Yeah.
historian and intrigue and paying respects that just makes me watch all these documentaries. But anyway, what are you watching? Anything new?
Um, I've been watching some documentaries lately as well. Kind of on this terrible parent kick, I guess. And I don't, and spoiler alert. I'm sorry in case somebody hasn't seen the documentary, The Unknown Number one on Netflix. Have you watched it?
I may have.
The one with the terrible group text where the girl's getting bullied for like 2 years. You would know if you've seen it. You haven't seen it. It just came
She's
out recently, and
yes. Then I
you
saw it.
said,
It's and
uh,
it's is it by the mom?
yeah, it's the
Sorry
mom.
to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
said spoiler alert
Yes.
in case somebody hasn't seen it. Yeah, I watched that just for the first time the other day, and I hadn't been following anything online yet, so I didn't know it was the mom yet. Whereas Valerie
Oh,
had,
it's
it,
great
it had gotten
twist.
ruined, and you're just like the whole, when she says it, you're just like, what? Like, and you
Yeah.
realize how crazy she is, and yeah, that. So I watched that the other day. That was I was gonna say entertaining, but I don't know if that's the right
I
word.
love a documentary with
Um,
a twist. I love a
yeah,
documentary with a twist where it's like I did not see that coming. I watched it on Labor Day last weekend. I was like, Stephanie, you have to watch that. I didn't know the title, so when you said unknown number, I'm like, hmm,
yeah, because it was an unknown number to texting a group chat the whole time, basically. And
yeah.
then I guess I was trying to compare worst parents of the century or whatever. The other one is Abducted in Plain Sight. I think that one's on HBO. That one's a crazy story as well. Pretty terrible, honestly. But
I mean, I've seen like
as
every
well,
documentary, every true
it was
crime documentary.
yeah. It's like these people that lived in this small town in like Idaho or something like that, and they befriended this guy, and this guy just was kind of like obviously in love with their daughter, and they just were
Uh,
like so stupid about it, and we're just like, yeah, you can go on a vacation with him alone, or like stupid shit like that, or you can sleep in her bed 4 nights a week or something, and like, and then later they're like, I can't believe I didn't know, and you're like, I feel like you should be arrested for negligence. Like this
and they
is
got her back though.
ridiculous. Yeah,
She came
they
back,
did,
but
but like the
years
parent,
later, and it's so weird.
yeah, it's so fucking weird. Yeah, and I'm just like, how
Yeah.
can you be that fucking stupid? Like, I don't
Yes.
know. It was so yeah. Been watching a lot of terrible parenting documentaries
Just getting
lately.
that out, just saying, easy stuff not to do. Do not text your
Yeah,
daughter to
yeah,
kill herself. Do not let
yeah,
her go on vacations with strange men.
yeah,
You're getting it. You're
yeah.
getting it.
Exactly. I'm getting it. I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
Getting ready here.
Yeah.
So
All right. All right. Let's get in some football. There's a lot of people who wanted to fast forward through what we just talked about. Well, here
how
we
dare
are.
you?
Here we are at football. We're going to do a little free agent frenzy here before we talk about the matchups. Scott, do you have any free agents on offense that are really, uh, you know, intriguing to you?
I mean, I've got a lot of free agents on offense that are intriguing to me. Like I'm
Really?
considering trading more people away to pick up these people, and that's why I like the moves and trades, because I usually like if it looks like I'm giving away something too much on one side, it's because I already have his replacement eyed as a free agent, basically, and that's why I want the moves.
Hmm.
Right now, for me, Wandale Robinson. I know it
Yeah.
doesn't sound super sexy, but guess what? Wilson is hit the days are numbered for him.
Hmm.
He does not have much longer. So, and once that happens, and Jackson Dart gets in there, it's going to be a different offense. And so once that happens, I think he's going to have a lot more value. That's my offensive guy. My defensive guy is actually going to be Sir Vosea Dennis. He is the
Ooh.
new inside linebacker next to Levante David in Tampa Bay. And let's face it, Levante David's like 45 years old.
Yeah.
Sir Vosea is really the guy that's making the plays, and I think he's going to have a really big year. I'm considering picking him up at any moment. So, yeah, those are my two guys right now.
Yeah.
Who you looking at?
I'm gonna go. There's one guy I just might just pick up, but I'm gonna say it because it won't be there till tomorrow. If I pick him up before tomorrow, I'm gonna give two defensive guys and an offensive guy. And let me say just about offensive guys. A lot of the offensive guys are tight ends. We play in a one tight end league, and there's a lot of tight ends out there where I'm like,
There's a lot of tight. I almost went with the tight end. There's multiple tight ends I could
yeah,
have said.
that's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying. There's a lot of tight ends that we could play in our league, and people say, well, the end of the tight end twos are just so bad. But I'm like, you got Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange, Jonnu Smith. All those guys are a touchdown waiting to happen, maybe two every single week. They're going to get like 4 to 7 targets
Mhm.
every single week. You even got Dalton Schultz, who could play. There's a lot there, but we won't. I won't do any tight ends. I'll talk about some a different position. We'll start out with the defense. Blake Cashman just went on IR today, and
Oh
Blake Cashman was a top defender, like D. I would say a
yeah.
D1, maybe if you really want to stretch it, top of the D2. That was for Cause's team, and his backup came in. His name's Eric Wilson, I believe. His backup came in and got 4.5 tackles to finish off the game. Um, Cashman didn't do awful, I don't think. So we're talking about like if you combine it, he only played 25 um, snaps and got 5 tackles. Man, that's pretty decent. A young kid stepping in, probably middle linebacker for the Vikings. You know, you don't know. Cashman's he's on IR, so he probably won't be back till week 6. Week 7, week 6 they're bye, so week 7. Um, you just, I mean, Cashman's going to play when he gets back, but I'm just saying for the next 4 or 5 weeks, this could be a guy that puts up, 10 points ish a game. Somebody that can really, play. Also, I've been looking at these rankings, defensive rankings, preseason that I had, and Kenneth Murray is the green dot for the Cowboys and is not owned. 9 tackles week 1. Obviously 5 assists, four solo, 5 assists. So, Jack Sanborn's on Neil's team, not the green dot. And, we've talked about the green dot in the past, somebody that calls the plays, is in charge of the defense, usually plays in the middle. Kenneth Murray, never been like a super sexy pick for some of these teams, but I mean, he's still on the right side of 30 and playing middle linebacker. You could do worse. Both those guys just mentioned didn't do anything but tackle in week 1. But yeah, worth looking at them there. Then on offense, I guess I'll go Kyle Monangai.
Oh, the Monangai guy.
There's been some talk lately, and I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, we're in week 2, so we're a long way from next season, of next year cutting down roster sizes back down to only 5 bench spots. And at that time, somebody like Kyle Monangai might not be somebody you want to invest in. Now, it was starting to grow before week 1 because they said that he maybe split time with DeAndre Swift. Maybe Ben Johnson wants to depend on the run a little bit more than they did last year, or do the play action, whatnot, and maybe able to be a receiver out of the backfield. Turns out he only got 1 catch for 11 yards, but that shows he can catch. They show that he may be put in on passing downs. And honestly, Swift hasn't really been that impressive to me from a fantasy perspective. Yeah, he's got a high floor, but he's not somebody that's going to crush it. If ever he gets injured or they go with Monangai, who's I believe a rookie, I have a lot of of confidence in Ben Johnson and his system, and I think Monangai could be a running back 2, maybe running back 1 that you can get for free right now. So that's who I was looking at. Things are a little light right now because we have 6 spots on offense or bench spots. So yeah, if it's not tight end, like my idea would be take a tight end, add a tight end, take away a bench spot, but we'll see. It's a long time from now. Long time. But let's talk about Thursday night football, right? We get football tonight.
Thursday night. Yeah.
We're taking it for granted. Like, we didn't have football 2 weeks ago. Now it's just like football happens all the time, right? It's week 2.
Thursday night.
Thursday night football. Who do you got in tonight?
Is it? It's at Green Bay. Wow.
At Green Bay, yeah.
I'm going to take Green Bay. I just think they're going to keep riding that way from last week of beating Detroit. Micah Parsons is going to play even more snaps. Defense is going to look nasty. Jordan Love's going to look good. Home field crowd. And traveling on a Thursday night game usually drops win percentage greatly. So,
yeah, I mean,
I think they're very evenly matched teams.
They are very.
Washington,
I don't feel great about it. Like, I think the Packers win as well. If you just told me without any investment in it and without anything, like, you're going to pick the Packers as the Commanders, yeah, I'll pick Packers at home. Sure.
If there's points with the Commanders, I would take the points with the Commanders.
There's 3, but that's pretty standard because what you're saying, so the general rule for gambling is you give the home team 3 points.
Yeah.
So that means that Vegas is saying straight up, these are 2
even teams.
Very even teams. Yeah.
I just feel like it's going to end like 28-26 or something, And so,
perfect.
a 2-point try at the end of the game, and Packers win, but Washington covers the spread.
Perfect, because my bet that I put in was a teaser, which basically adds 6 points to each side. So I got Commanders +9 and over 42.5 points. I think these teams combine for over 42.5, and the Commanders can stay within 10 points. I hope.
What you don't want is Green Bay's defense to wreck, because then they might.
Yeah,
but I think Jaden will still put up points.
I think both offenses play pretty well tonight. I don't, I know I said the Lions have trouble going on the road against the Packers, but we're talking about a short week. Commanders, both of them had slow. I mean, actually, the Packers had a decent offensive week in week 1. But I think both of them come out, and we might see a shootout here tonight. So pretty excited about that. All right, let's review week 1. So week 1, we're doing this scoring this year. And week 1, we both went 3-4. We are tied, sir, to start out the year. We both lost on our picking each other. Will that change this week? I don't know. We'll see. But let's get into some of these matchups here. Let's see.
Are you ready for week 2?
Week 2. Man, I got to get that down. Got to get that down. Week 2.
Almost.
So yeah. Let's start out with Fupa versus Professor. You want to start us out on this?
Fupa versus Professor. A lot of the matchups this week, I will say, are very hard to choose. I think they could definitely go either way. Starting at the top, though, Fupa's got Dak versus the Giants and Trevor at Cincinnati. Not bad, not a bad matchups. But I do kind of like Professor's quarterbacks in Baker and he's starting Russell. Ooh, I don't know. Russell might not even finish the game. That's not good. You better hope Baker really puts up a lot of points. So I'm going to give the edge to Fupa there a little bit, but I do expect Professor's wide receivers to show up. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and Jacoby Myers. Actually, a pretty good lineup. Fupa's no slouch with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuel, both very good. I think I just have a feeling I'm giving the edge to Professor here. Jahmyr Gibbs, the whole Detroit offense looked bad last week for Fupa, and Travis Etienne. Hey, we got a lot of Jaguars here, John. We got Jaguars tripod. I don't know if that's what you want. That's not always good there, but we'll see versus Professors Josh Jacobs and Alvin Kamara. I think
you can't have a tripod with a kicker.
Kicker counts.
It does not count as a tripod.
Yes, it does.
No, because then you could have a quad pod. You could have a quad pod if you had the receiver there, right? Which wouldn't be a terrible idea. Like if he had Travis Hunter, that's a solid quad pod.
I just have a feeling that Professor's going to win this. I know I like a lot of Fupa's players, but not a huge fan of the Jaguars tripod. And I need to see Detroit's offense play a lot better than they did last week. I need to see like a real Jahmyr Gibbs game for him to have a chance. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I got to disagree with you. Listen, the one thing that I was like, okay, when I looked at this, you automatically get attracted to the hammer, and he's got the Baker hammer on Monday night. You love to have your first pick or your best player, not his first pick, but your best player playing on Monday Night Football in a dome. You love that, okay? Even if it is against Houston's defense, which didn't exactly play too terrible against the Rams. It was more the offense's problem. But here's why I like John. So Trevor Lawrence against Cincinnati. All right, Cincinnati showed that they can give up points to quarterbacks, and I like what Trevor Lawrence. Even though Trevor Lawrence, I said it was going to be 40-40 or something. They didn't reach that. They did just fine week 1 getting a win. So I really like them at Cincinnati on the road. That works for ETN too, because what we don't think about ETN, usually you don't like the quarterback running back pair, but ETN can catch the ball. So they can pair up on that. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't have a great week 1, but facing Chicago at home, that's nasty. I like that. Deebo Samuel had a great week 1. I think he comes out and puts up a great week 2. DJ Moore showed out. He kind of reminded us like, okay, you guys love Rome Odunze. I'm going to get the ball in the backfield. I'm going to get the ball deep. I'm going to get the ball in the middle of the field. I'm going to get the ball everywhere. DJ Moore is a decent play from week to week. Again, playing in that Detroit game in the Dome. On defense, I like Cause's team better. I mean, overall, but you got Aluakon, who is not practicing right now. I know it's just an illness, but he's not practicing today. You've got, like I said, I like Cause's defense better, but it's not that much better. It's not enough to match the matchups on John's side. I just like him a lot better. I think that if this team played each other on a different week with different matchups, I think it would be a lot better. But I'm going to take John on this side. It's just there's just too much.
Okay.
Kamara against San Francisco, Jacob against Washington. I just don't like these nearly as much, so I'm going to take Fupa.
I think it's close. Like I said, I was very close.
It's very close. Yeah. How about Disco Lemonade versus Unicycle Polar Bears?
This was another tough one. Another tough one to choose. I think the projections are a little off on this. Unicycle Polar Bears is Caleb Williams and Michael Penix at Detroit and at Minnesota. They are both on the road, but they're both in Dome, and they both played very well last week for fantasy purposes. I expect another good game out of both of them. I didn't see that from Disco Lemonade's side on Bo Nix last week. He is at Indianapolis this week. I expect him to play better for sure, but he wasn't great in fantasy purposes. JJ McCarthy, up until that fourth quarter, it was not looking good. So hopefully that's not a common thing that like he has slow starts or anything like that. But if he can just continue that trend, JJ McCarthy might be really good this season for sure, especially playing at home in his dome. I expect this to be about even. I might give the edge to Unicycle Polar Bears there a little bit. But moving on to the wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Tetra McMillan, and Devontae Smith for Disco Lemonade versus Unicycle Polar Bears, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, and Keon Coleman. We didn't see a great week from Amon-Ra or Malik Neighbors last week, mainly due to their offense and their quarterbacks. So that scares me a little bit about both of them because Giants, I don't think are going to get better until Russ is benched. And hopefully Detroit isn't completely crippled with a brand new offensive line and having lost 8 coaches in the offseason. So I need to see it from them. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty decent week last week, but could have been a lot better without those drops. I think I'm giving the edge to Unicycle Polar Bears here because I like Keon Coleman. I just expect the talent from the top 2 to come out at some point. I also like his running backs better in Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker versus Chase Brown, Trevion Henderson. I'm taking Unicycle Polar Bear this week.
Listen.
No. Wait.
What?
I might be taking Disco. I'm looking at my notes. My notes are opposite.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
It's very close. It's very close.
Is it?
It is. It is close to me.
Okay. Well, who do you think?
Here, you do your pick.
No, I can't do my pick after you. You gotta pick somebody.
All right. I'm taking Disco.
You're taking Disco. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was looking like, why is, because Unicycle Polar Bears, his projections are so low. And I'm trying to see why. And really, it's like Pitts is getting no love. He had a decent week 1. His defense is getting no love. He's got a lot of like underrated. Like obviously, Roseboom is better than the 4.49. Landman is better than the 5.62. Like I think his defense is really underprojected. However, this team is going to be hard. I know I picked them in week 1. It's going to be hard to pick them week after week unless Caleb Williams faces a defense that just can get run over. And Detroit is not that defense. They're just not. I know that Love had a good week one against them, but this Detroit defense is going to show up. They're going to be tough like all year long. And Caleb Williams is one of his biggest point scorers. Listen, you like Amon Ra, you like Neighbors, you don't mind Kyron Williams. He's going to get his touches. But Kenneth Walker gave a lot of touches to Charbonnet in week one. They're playing Pittsburgh. I know Brees Hall tore up Pittsburgh in week one, but I just don't see that happening every week as well. There's nothing that jumps out here where it's like, wow, this is going to be somebody that, he's got the Pitts and Michael Penix Jr. Tandem there, but I just don't see it like where, oh man, he's going to be carried like this. Like on the other side, it's an interesting matchup just because you got JJ McCarthy playing against Penix on Sunday night. That's fun. But CeeDee Lamb facing the Giants usually tears up the Giants. Devontae Smith in what could be a high-scoring game against Kansas City. Chase Brown against Jacksonville at home. You've got Tyler Warren facing Denver, who, if they're going to, they are pretty tough against the pass, but if anybody's going to score points, it's going to be Tyler Warren underneath. I like Neal's defense. Especially Edgerrin Cooper tonight. As far as DL is concerned, Neal's got some of the best in the league. I like Abdul Carter and Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, especially against New Orleans. I just don't know how I don't pick Disco Lemonade here. And it's not so much like we talked last time about matchups, because I don't think that the matchups are really that terrible besides the Detroit Caleb Williams thing on Unicycle Polar Bear side. I just like Neal's team better. So I'm going to go Disco Lemonade on this one. I'm going to agree with you.
And that's why, like I said, I think it's a lot closer than it is. That's why I was talking up Unicycle Polar Bears, but I did at the end of the day pick Disco.
His defensive projections are off. Defensive projections are way lower than they probably should be, but I just think Neal's offense is just better overall. So I'm going to pick Disco Lemonade. How about Maestro versus Benjamin Harrison?
Benjamin Harrison had a rough week one. No lie. And he's kind of running it all back. And so there were so many things that went wrong that it's tough to pick him this week until I see a better performance out of almost his entire offense, other than Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson was the one shining light. His team was that meme of the little kid singing terribly until the one kid can really sing, and that was Bijan. Everybody else was just garbage last week, and he backed it up with AJ Brown. I know I've said I love AJ Brown, and I do love AJ Brown, but he is in a talented offense, meaning that there's a lot of talent around him as well, and so it's hard to he might get the ball this week. He also might not get it much at all. Devontae Smith could get it. Saquon could get it. Any number of tight ends could. Jalen could keep it himself like he did a lot last week. So Tyreek Hill is obviously not happy in Miami, and he's backing it up with Tua. CJ Stroud, the Texans offense didn't look good last week. Last year, they did have a very high scoring game against Tampa Bay, though. So I'm hoping that something like that happens again as well. But it's like I said, I like Maestro. I like Jared Goff to bounce back this week versus Chicago. I like Stafford to continue playing well. Justin Jefferson to keep building. Mike Evans to be in part of that high-scoring Tampa Bay Houston game. And Cooper Kupp even had a decent week. I think Steelers defense last week looked terrible. He could probably put a decent amount of points. And he's got Pacheco and Javonte Williams, who both had very good weeks last week. So I'm liking Maestro this week. I need to see more out of Benjamin Harrison before I can pick him. What do you think?
So Max is like the number one buy low guy. Like if you have a guy who sucks but has potential not to suck, he's going to come and try to give you a decent price. I think that's what he looks for in fantasy overall, is like, where's the value in some of these people that don't have faith in some of these guys? Because Max basically blankets face across all bad players in the NFL. Just like if Tua and Tyreek Hill weren't on Max's team already, he'd be sending offers to that person for Tua and Tyreek Hill.
I get it. They have talent. They do have talent.
You can't buy low on the players that are already on your team, though.
No,
you can't. You can't. They're already on your team. Can't get on your team any further. So he did that with A.J. Brown because I feel like A.J. Brown and people are kind of like giving up. Okay, he got one catch. People were taking dumps on him like he doesn't belong in the wide receiver 1 conversation. He's more of a wide receiver 2, fantasy-wise, before the season started. I even said that. I said, I don't like A.J. Brown. If I have to pick A.J. Brown, I'm going to skip him and I'm going to hate you guys. Of course, A.J. Brown gets one catch week 1, so everybody's like proven right. And Mac's like, I'll go trade for A.J. Brown. He trades for A.J. Brown, faces Kansas City. It's probably going to turn out great. He's probably going to score a bunch of points. Anyway, this team scored 110 points. I picked them last week. They scored 110 points in week 1, and now they're projected 173 in week 2. So it's like, do I just think that this team is just going to totally turn it around and we're going to be like, wow, this is not what I expected in week 2? I don't know. I mean, starting with him, the Dolphins are super hard to read, okay?
Yeah.
Because this has been a high-powered offense in the past. You've got lowest of the low, like vibes are so low in Miami. Tyreek Hill, domestic violence. Tua, is still a hit away from maybe ending his career. Yeah, you bought A.J. Brown. Ricky Pearsall right now is going to be catching balls from Mac Jones. He's the only healthy guy, so people are like,
it's not good.
Great, but really, do you want to buy anybody in the San Francisco offense right now? Does that really get you excited?
It's
anybody?
Not 4 years ago.
Yeah, like maybe McCaffrey because they're just going to shove it down his throat, but Ricky Pearsall, I mean, what does he get? 5 for 75, maybe a touchdown. That's a great week for a wide receiver 3, but that's your ceiling. He ain't getting over 100 yards. Sorry, from Mac Jones, they ain't happening.
He's gonna go off now.
Watch. He probably will because somebody will screenshot the little Spotify, whatever, and they'll throw it in there. But he ain't going for 100 yards. Come on, he just ain't. And then he's got Bijan and Omarion Hampton. At some point, Omarion Hampton's going to show up and get him 15, 20 points. But it's just really tough. I hope C.J. Stroud comes up and scores some points against Tampa Bay on Monday night. It's just to bet on this team, to come out and be like, hey, I was wrong last week, I was wrong last week, but this week he's going to come back and score and hit those projections is tough, especially on the other side when you got Jared Goff against Chicago at home. You've got juicy wide receiver matchups with Justin Jefferson against Atlanta on Sunday night, Mike Evans against Houston, who Mike Evans has torn up Houston in the past on Monday night. You've got Cooper Kupp playing Pittsburgh, and I feel like they're going to have to throw. They're going to be playing from behind. Javonte Williams shows that he's going to take a good part of the running back load in Dallas. So you've got volume there. A defense. Michael did spend top picks on Zach Bond and Okereke, and they showed up last week, and you expect them to probably show up again. Like, Michael doesn't have the sexiest team in the world. He doesn't. He clearly lost last week, but I think that this team is going to do a lot better going forward. I think they're going to do a lot better this week. I'm going to pick Michael. I just have to. Did you pick Maestro?
I did. So we're both on Maestro.
Okay. Putting this in.
Let's see.
Next up, we got Camacho versus Notorious. Go ahead.
This is tight. I think this one should be close because I like Camacho's quarterbacks and Joe Burrow and Jordan Love. Notorious has Jalen Hurts, which is pretty good, and Flacco, who didn't have a great week last week, is okay, but I expect him to play pretty well this week, especially against a team he's familiar with in Baltimore. But I do expect Camacho's team to come out on top there. Camacho's got George Pickens, Zay Flowers, and Hollywood Brown. I think they all have pretty good weeks. Worthy's not going to play. Zay Flowers had a great week last week, and Pickens probably going to go off this week. Notorious Drake London, Jackson Smith Njigba, and Jameson Williams. Not definitely not as sexy at all. Still giving another edge to Camacho there, and then Devon Achane and Jonathan Taylor, very, very suitable running backs versus Christian McCaffrey and James Cook, who are probably a little bit edgewise talent for sure. But I think Notorious is lost in too many other spots here. I also like Trey McBride over Njoku. I like Chase's defense a little bit enough to show up. I mean, Notorious probably has a little bit better Brian Burns, Antoine Winfield, Buda Baker, things like that. But I don't think it's be enough to come to catch up to Camacho. I think Camacho's got this one this week.
Yeah.
Are we going to agree again?
I'm not just going to blanket agree with you, but listen, Joe Burrow came out in week 1 and really did not play the way that Chase expected Joe Burrow to play. I mean, less than 10 points. It's a really fucking weird game for the Bengals. Tonight, I think Jordan Love's a fine quarterback too. I mean, just overall, I think he's a good pick to go out there and score points. And I do think he meets his projection against Washington's defense. I don't think Washington's defense is like over the top fantastic. So, you got Joe Burrow playing better. Jordan Love meeting his projections. Hollywood Brown taking over as the only receiver. I'm surprised you haven't traded for Hollywood Brown, by the way. Don't you need another Kansas City wide receiver? Hollywood Brown taking as the only wide receiver. Looking at his volume in week 1 after they went out, I mean, this isn't even full game, being 16 targets. 16 fucking targets. Against Philadelphia when you're probably going to be playing, like trying to catch up or trying to stay in a game, Hollywood Brown's going to score some fucking points. He's going to be popular in DFS on Sunday. I like Hollywood Brown. I like Pickens against the Giants. Jonathan Taylor against Denver is not great, but still he's probably going to get a good amount of volume. Trey McBride against Carolina, fantastic. I said I like Chase's defense against, before the season started, but he has made some questionable moves where I'm like you're going to play 3 Green Bay defenders against, how are they all going to get you?
That's not good.
5 points. Let's just say, do you think both those guys get a sack? No, probably not.
You got to spread your eggs around.
Well, I mean, the chances of Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary getting a sack got to be 10-1. Maybe whatever. They got to have a bad day, but I don't like that. I don't like Cooper DeJean playing in your D spot. I feel like there's enough D. I just said 2. I feel like there's enough D to go around where you're not playing. I know Cooper DeJean returns punts. Got your 5.5 week 1. But can't you play him at DB and I don't know, move some other pieces around? I feel like D is just universally better than DB, overall.
Playing a linebacker or something. You're saying
playing a linebacker is safer than playing a DB. DBs could get 0. Linebackers are at least going to get some tackles, assists, or be involved in some plays. So unless you've got a blitzing linebacker who only comes from the outside, so I just think that there's way more options. And Keyshawn Nixon did not return a kick week 1 when most other people return kicks. If he doesn't return kicks, it's going to be hard to sustain the value of where you picked him at. That's my only criticism of his team this week 1. Obviously, Danny has Hurts going up against Kansas City. That's awesome. Flacco going up against Baltimore. You know he's going to be throwing. Christian McCaffrey with Mac Jones playing is going to get a fuck ton of points. James Cook against the Jets going to get a good amount of play. You like Jackson Smith and Jigga against Pittsburgh. We've already seen that they can give up points through the air. Drake London on Monday night. You kind of see where I'm going with this. I really like all this. And Njoku scares me because have you heard about this guy, Harold Fannin Jr.?
No, I haven't heard of this guy.
He's the second tight end for the Browns, and they threw him a shit ton of balls week 1. They're going to run this 2 tight end scheme. Kind of gets me worried about Jerry Jeudy as well. But Njoku should be scared. Njoku should be scared about this Harold.
Njoku.
Yeah. So I don't know about that right there. I mean, I think that this is maybe something he can improve upon. But I love his defense. Obviously, Winfield, Baker, Holland, some of the best
Mhm.
DBs in our league. Rousseau and Karloftis are fine. I'm taking Danny.
Taking Danny.
I'm taking Notorious in this one. I think that I like that Chase's team's going to play better, or some of these players are going to play better than they did last week. This is a really good matchup. It's probably
It is. It
one of
is
the
a
best
really good
matchups of
matchup.
the week. But I'm taking Notorious just because I really, really love those matchups. I really like Christian McCaffrey against New Orleans, and I really love Hurts and Flacco. Even though they're playing on the road, I just love the game script for them. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Notorious. Next matchup here, let's go Breadbasket, best in the league, versus Eternal Touchdown. Who you got here?
This is another very good matchup, I think. I mean, probably some of the best quarterbacks do matchups in the league between Mahomes and Herbert versus Jane Daniels, Kyler Murray. I expect them all to put up a lot of points this week. I think this whole matchup's going to be high flying affair, honestly. But I do like Breadbasket's wide receivers a little bit more than Eternal Touchdowns. Bread's got Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Marvin Mims Jr. He's got the double junior power there. Well, Eternal Touchdowns bringing in Brian Thomas Jr., Matthew Golden, and Chris Olave. I need to see it out of Matthew Golden and Chris Olave first, really. And we haven't yet right now. And Brian Thomas didn't even start that hot either. So I see a lot more target share for Breadbasket's wide receivers all around. His running backs between Chuba Hubbard and DeAndre Swift, I know don't sound great, but actually had very solid week ones, and that's all they really need to do. They don't need to be amazing on Breadbasket's team. He's not asking them to be. He's just asking them to be consistent, and I expect that from both of them. In total touchdowns now had kind of on the lower edge of this between Bucky Irving, Jordan Mason. Yes, Bucky Irving, it can be good at times, and Jordan Mason actually had a pretty decent week one, but they both have competition and a lot of other playmakers on their offense is their biggest problem. So I like Kelsey over TJ Hawkinson, for instance, Breadbaskets over Toronto Touchdown again. And defense down here on either side isn't really that wowing me either way on either side. So I don't think it's going to be enough to sway anything. I do think that Breadbasket should drop Young Ho Koo. He could definitely go negative at any given week, basically. So
well, Young Ho Koo is not. I mean, he is. They're bringing in another kicker to compete.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought I read too. I wasn't sure. So
he might not be the kicker.
Yeah, he might not even have a job anymore. I still expect Breadbasket to win this though. I'm taking Bread.
I mean, Brad's team played fantastic last week. I mean, the Mahomes Herbert combo is just, and they're both playing in the later slate.
Yeah, but Puka and Marvin too, I think are going to be great. And Marvin Harrison Jr. And then Marvin Mims just needs a bomb every once in a while, and that's, I mean, you're not asking much from him anyway.
Well, he returns kicks. I mean, anybody who returns kicks, I think the landscape of kick returning has just changed a lot this year. In that teams are trying to put it within the 10, and there's a lot of people who are being successful at it, getting people to fumble the ball, you put it on the ground, like whatever, and pinning these people way back.
Last week.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that with that, a lot of people get more opportunities, and Marvin Mims is one of the best in the league at doing that. So as long as the Broncos can put the ball in the air, which they failed to do week one, then Marvin Mims can have a little bit of value. For the Rams, it looked like Puka Nacua is going to be the primary target. I mean, he was supposed to be the primary target going into the year, but he got a ton of work. 11 targets, caught 10 of them week one. Didn't get a touchdown, still scored 18 points. So you love to see that out of him. Chuba Hubbard is going to get his against Arizona. The Kelsey connection is probably not going to be the Kelsey connection we've seen in the past, but it's still going to be producing a lot of points. We're going to know a lot about this matchup after tonight with Jaden Daniels playing tonight and Matthew Golden. What worries me about Clay's team and maybe just Clay's strategy overall is he pigeonholes himself with people like Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden can come out and put up another 2-catch, 3-catch performance under 40 yards. And what are you going to do at that point? He's projected 7.41. Are you not making an effort to make an improvement at this? Should be somebody that you wait and see on. When you're 0-1, and I'm not going to comment on any of Clay's past performances in past years, but when you're 0-1, You should be putting the best team on the field. And Matthew Golden's a wait and see. Is he going to become a number one, or are the Packers going to continue to spread the ball out to Kraft, to Romeo Dobbs, and to all the different receivers that they have? So that worries me a little bit. Going to week one, you got Chris Olave, who's not the best receiver in himself. He got a lot of targets week one, got a lot of share. 13 targets is a ton. So you could get worse at wide receiver 3, but I think Golden's like a 4 or 5 at this point. Bucky Irving is fine. At running back, he's probably going to get a lot of work on Monday night. And again, it's good to have that hammer. Hawkinson as well. They don't have fantastic matchups. Jordan Mason, another guy. I just think you could do better at running back too. You're going to be seeing a lot of Aaron Jones isn't dead. Okay, I said I love Jordan Mason going into the year, and I really like him for Clay's team, but he's not dead. Like, you got to have other options at running back 2, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. I just don't think he has the rest of his team. Jane Daniels, Kyler Murray, some of the best quarterback combos in the league. Mm-hmm. But if Jane Daniels doesn't come out and score 30 points tonight, you've kind of put yourself in a position where it's like, okay, I need these other guys to perform. And do you have a team with Matthew Golden, with Jordan Mason, to come out and win you against the guy that scored the most points in the league last week with Mahomes and Herbert? And I just don't think he does. Great defense. Jack Campbell, Mac Wilson, Zaire Franklin's fine. Good defensive lineman. That's great. You got a better defense than Brad. But do you have? Well, I mean, even defensive ends, Brad whoops his ass. So, as long as Brad doesn't get any zeros, and you got to watch the Koo thing, because I don't know if Koo's going to play. I'd drop Koo for another kicker right now anyway.
Yeah, I would drop him anyways, even if he wasn't losing his job. His kicking style is so bad. There's something like it's too wobbly.
It goes too side to side.
It goes side to side. It's so bad. Well, because if you see his lineup, so normally, like a soccer kick, you do 1 step back and 2 to the left. He does 2 steps back, 1 to the left, and so he's like toe kicking it. Is basically what he's doing. Yeah. And so he just toe pokes it as hard as he can. So you don't really have any control. You could do it really far, but you don't have any control.
Like Cairo Santos did that shit for the Bears a lot, where he was like curving, he was like fading it in and give you a heart attack every fucking time. Like, watch McManus. Watch McManus tonight. No, watch Brandon McManus tonight for the Packers. Like, the guy is just straight and narrow. That's the kicker you want. The guy that just, even if he fucking misses it, the ball goes fucking straight. And so, I probably
aimed correctly.
Yeah, even if he misses it, the ball is going. I'd rather the kick go like, a little wide right, instead of being like, whoop, it just missed at the last second. But anyway, I'm picking Breadbasket. You pick Breadbasket as well?
Yeah, we're both on Breadbasket this week.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Eternal Touchdown, but it's looking like 0-2 for you.
There's just too many weak spots in this lineup. Yeah. He really needs to say, all right, I'm not going to do like a whole trade thing, but he needs to say, hey, some of these guys on the bench, I mean, I don't know, Downs, he doesn't really have a lot. He has so many lottery tickets. Braylon Allen, Josh Downs, Jalen Monroe, Scatabo, like all these guys are lottery tickets. Like, get yourself some starters. Anyway, next matchup, we're going in Sex Raptor versus Rumham. Who do you got on this one?
This is a really tough one to call. I really think this is a coin flip. Starting at the top with Sex Raptor yourself has Drake May and Daniel Jones. I expect a better week out of Drake May, especially because he's playing against Miami. Now, it does say it's supposed to rain, so it could be that might really damper his scoring if his trends are damper. Might also help it. Maybe he keeps it, does a little more QB runs. You never know. Daniel Jones obviously had an amazing week last week. I don't really expect him to have that good a week against Denver, mainly because he played Miami last week. And so I expect Denver's defense to kind of stifle that a little bit. Whereas Rumham had the best tripod in the league last week with Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall. They looked really fucking good. And Buffalo's defense let up a lot of points and a lot of yards to the Ravens last week. Now, I'm not saying that the Jets are the Ravens, but you have to at least admit that they'll be doing pretty well against him. I would think that was one of the best games we've ever seen Justin Fields play. So Geno Smith coming up behind him there, I think has a very decent game, and it's a Monday night hammer. Your wide receivers are very good, but he's got very good lineup as well between your Nico Collins, Jerry Jeudy, and Stephon Diggs, and his T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey. I think they line up very well. Ashton Genty had a very solid week one. James Conner, not so much, but Breece Hall and David Montgomery. Breece Hall carried the load there, and Dave Montgomery, obviously, in Detroit offense didn't do very well last week. I like Brock Bowers. Is Brock Bowers going to play? Look at that.
I don't know. Probably not.
He didn't participate. Ooh, that's not good. Do you have a backup?
No, he does not.
No, he does not. So you'd have to make a move, which I would recommend because I expect this to be a very close game. If he tries to ride with Brock Bowers and he doesn't play or gets a 0, that could definitely turn this game. I am taking Rumham right now, though. I expect him to edge you out just by a hair, but I expect it to be a good game.
So the thing about the Brock Bowers situation is even if they don't announce before Monday, like
it's Monday night, so
because we run a 1 tight end league, like Michael Mayer's right there. He's their backup, and he gets work even when Bowers is playing. So if he steps in the number 1 spot, he's a fine substitution. There's nothing to worry about like trying to find somebody that's suitable, even on Monday midday, right? You can just drop somebody. If you have somebody to drop that plays on Monday, I don't know if if you plan ahead, right? You could drop somebody. You could drop
Luther Burden the third.
I don't know about that. It could turn out something. If you get an injury on the Chicago offense, I think Luther Burden would be great. But yeah, no, I'm worried about this team. What you got to look at? How did this team win last week? They won with the Jets. You got the Jets tripod, which I'm going to call this whole week the tri-fraud.
Tri-fraud. Uh-oh, look out.
The Jets tri-fraud. You got 32, 19, and 12.5 out of these guys. How many weeks? I need to know. How many weeks do you think they will meet that? What's that? 32 plus 19 is 51 plus 13 is 64. How many weeks do you think they'll get 64 points?
Not every week, but Buffalo's defense didn't look very good last week
against the Ravens.
They have a very similar style of football: a mobile quarterback, a true number 1 wide receiver, a good running back. I expect it to still be a high scoring affair. I expect the Bills to win, but I expect it to be high scoring.
You just compared Justin Fields to Lamar Jackson. I think Garrett Wilson's a great receiver, and Breece Hall to Derrick Henry. You think those guys are all comparable?
He looked pretty damn good. He looked pretty good last week. I'm just saying.
I don't think that they can. I don't think any of them can match that. I mean, this is why you see Trevor right now trying to scramble to break this up. He's trying to make trades right now to get rid of Breece Hall. He was talking to you. Yeah. And for the good reasons, they're not going to do this. This is the time. They just did fantastic and won him the week. Like, it's not going to happen every week. Obviously, Geno Smith on Monday night is a fantastic matchup against the Chargers. You like that. You like to have the hammer for the last game on Monday night. That's fantastic. We talked about the Brock Bowers situation. David Montgomery obviously didn't get the points that you want to see. 11 rush for 25 yards, but he did get 4 catches. I think he'll do better as the weeks go on. Lad McConkey in that game. I mean, what a nightmare to have such a big hammer with Geno Smith and Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers potentially. That sucks for me to sit there and watch. I'm going to be watching until the very end. And I got Genty on the other
1
side.
o'clock in the morning. You're like,
yeah. I'm watching that game. Everybody's done. And I'm sitting there like, please, Lord, do not throw, whatever. But at least I'll have a lead, hopefully. He's got a good team. This is a fine team. I didn't really like it as much because of the Jets tripod. But, I mean, they showed that they could play week 1. It's potential. I don't think they match that, but they can be passable, I think, from week to week. They're not the worst. They're not going to lose their jobs. It's going to be a decent combo. On defense, I think I got him at DB. I think I only got 2 points out of my defensive ends week one. So TJ Watt playing Seattle against Darnold. Oh boy, that's going to be rough. I'm worried about that. Worried about Quay Walker tonight against Washington. I think he does well. His D's got me, obviously, but like DBs, he doesn't touch me. Come on. Travis Hunter, Julian Love. Travis Hunter going to get more work on defense this week. I really like that. At running back on my side, you don't know what you're going to get out of Genty. I'm glad he saved his week by getting a touchdown last week because it was kind of brutal otherwise. So hopefully they work him in. Gino doesn't get all the points.
Better hope Julian Love plays. He's got a little groin injury there.
I think he'll be fine.
Groin injuries are not a walk it off kind of thing, man.
Yeah, but lots of people who block kicks get some groin injuries. It's common. But if not, then we'll.
Saying, you better have somebody on your eye, man.
Oh, I got people on my eye. I got people on my eye.
I'm just saying, like you're probably gonna have to make a move here before Sunday. Yeah, before noon. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if these cues, go away.
Well, I'm just saying a groin's like
shoe cues.
It's up there with hamstring. Like if you hear hamstring, cues. Like you better start expecting 2 to 4 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, I understand. But Drake May obviously disappointed in his week one, but came out. He's going to play Miami. You need more than 11 rush yards, Drake May. That's it. You need more than 11 rush yards if we're going to win this week. Daniel Jones had a fantastic. I don't think he matched that against Denver's defense, but I just hope he does. I hope he gets double-digit points. I hope we don't see Indiana Jones turn into a pumpkin after 1 week. Like, give me one more week.
I think the boulder is going to catch up with him, man.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Jonathan Taylor over Jonathan Taylor, that's fine. But, like, let's move the ball against the Denver defense. You're going to give me so much confidence for the rest of the year. Nico Collins is going to do better. I'm sorry. He has to. They got to be watching film going, how do we play action enough to get the ball into Nico's hands? Because they didn't do that at all week one. They didn't even try to run the ball, and when they did, they fucking sucked. So get the ball in Nico's hands somehow. Jerry Jeudy against Baltimore, I like that because they'll be playing from behind. Stephon Diggs, please connect. I'm still wondering what I'm going to do with this wide receiver 3. We don't know if Juwan Jennings, even if Juwan Jennings does play, do I want Mac Jones? Malik Washington's in play there. There's lots of different options, but right now Stephon Diggs is in there. He got some work. He didn't play the whole game, but 6 catches for 57 yards, that'll do for wide receiver 3. Like James Conner as a high floor guy. Evan Ingram, questionable against, not questionable. He's going to play, but do I want him going forward? We'll see. This is a tryout. Otherwise, we're going to make a move for a tight end after the week. But yeah, I like me to win. I'm less confident than I was last week against Cause, but I'm going to take myself honestly because I really think that I can win this game and deserve to win this game. So I'll take myself. Next matchup, we got a guy named Darth Scott against Last Man Standing. This should be pretty interesting. In fact, this should if Hedman would have won week one, this probably would have been matchup of the week, I think, because you're in third. Lamar Jackson, if you had to tell me who I want Lamar Jackson to play, if I was going to play you, who would I want Lamar Jackson to play the most? It'd be Cleveland. I think Cleveland plays Lamar Jackson better than any other defense. With Myles Garrett, I think they play it better than any other defense in the NFL. They see him the most. They contain him the most. I think they're a great defense. Sam Darnold against Pittsburgh is a decent matchup. I just don't think Sam Darnold's very good. I just don't. I think that he's going to lose his job at some point to Jalen Monroe. I think it would be smart for you to go offer somebody to Clay for Jalen Monroe, just to have that, because Lamar Jackson and Jalen Monroe would be sick. It would. Cortland Sutton has a decent matchup. Ibuka. I don't let go of Ibuka. You're welcome for letting you play in week one. I think you would have won anyway, but you're welcome for fitting him in because you had him as your wide receiver 4 behind Judy. He's fantastic. At least before Chris Godwin comes, he's going to be a target hog like him. Roman Dunzik caught a touchdown week one. He's going to be – that's fantastic get for you. spending some defense for Rome Dunza. I think that was a great wide receiver 3 get. I love your wide receivers. Sutton, Egbuka, and Odunze, fantastic. Barkley against Kansas City is going to be a good matchup. Aaron Jones, Sunday night, he's going to get play. You're hoping for a touchdown. I love Tucker Kraft tonight. I love Tucker Kraft. I think he beats his projection. I think he probably gets a touchdown too. Love Tucker Kraft. Boswell's serial killer. He's going to get his points. The defense. I think your defense made a cardboard.
Cardboard.
You used the moves I gave you, and you just went and got a bunch of guys. This was your strategy all along. You talked about it in the offseason. I'm just going to go grab, a bunch of guys. You got Jordan Lewis, Pulamau, Drew Tranquil, a bunch of guys that did decent in week 1, and try to get that repeat, try to get some momentum. We'll see if that works out for you. Hopefully Jalen Carter doesn't spit on anybody. On the other side,
he's going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah. On the other side, just to be completely transparent, Edelman would have beat you week 1. He scored 185 points and lost. It's disappointing, but you've got Josh Allen playing the Jets. Josh Allen probably won't meet his what he got last week, but Aaron Rodgers surprised me. Thank you. 4 touchdowns. Fine. I don't know if you'll get that every week. I don't know if you'll be whatever, but fine. Khalil Shakir is a stack and jack. You got Derrick Henry. I've been talking to Hedman about Ramondre and replacing him. We've had trade talks this week. He doesn't seem too committed to doing that. He replaced tight end Kittle with another stack and jack with Kincaid. So hey, that's great. Get rid of a stack and jack with Kittle because he's hurt. Fill it in with another stack and jack with Kincaid. I think that's just like working out perfect for him. So, because I think that's a great stack and jack in itself. I like his defense better than yours overall. It's just is. Myles Garrett is going to come after Lamar Jackson. Listen, I'm sorry. I got to take Hedman in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a very solid team. It's hard to argue because I do expect it to be very close. I mean, there's a lot of like similarities in our team, between it's Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, it's Sam Darnold versus Aaron Rodgers, both people on new teams, and they're literally playing each other. Derrick Henry versus Saquon Barkley in my mind. But I think I have enough to keep up in all of those areas. Sam Darnold obviously probably won't have as good a game as Aaron Rodgers, but I think I beat him in wide receivers with Sutton and Mika Buka and Rome Odunze. I like my tight end more than his, especially because he does have a lot of eggs in the Buffalo basket. If for whatever reason that's a rainy game or the Jets defense comes out and plays him really well, or whatever happens, that's a lot of eggs in one basket. And that's one thing I didn't want to do this year. I didn't want to have, hey, if that's a bad game, guess what? I've got 5 players in that fucking game. No, I'm not riding that fucking show, motherfucker. Then I've got Boswell beats Dicker the kicker. Yes, Dicker the kicker's on Monday night, but what can you do? And yet he's probably got more names on his side, but man, these motherfuckers getting old, man. Bobby Wagner, Blankenship, McKinney, those guys are Spillane. How what is the 10th year now? They're slowing down, man. I've got a bunch of young bloods and they're ready to roll. So I'm taking myself this week. I expect it to be high scoring, but I expect the rest of my guys that aren't necessarily my top name brand guys to show up this week and win it.
Wow, you're taking yourself?
Yeah.
That is bold. That is absolutely bold. Yeah, we are both on the Maestro. We are
split.
We're both on the Maestro. We're both on Disco Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
And we're both on Breadbasket.
Yes, and then we're split on the rest.
So
4. Okay.
Yeah. There's still time, guys, to make some moves to adjust this. We gave our thoughts, but I think there's a lot of teams in here that could use some fresh moves, fresh trades, fresh free agents. So good luck this week, guys. Happy week 2. Scott, you got anything to say before we go?
Nothing. Just looking forward to the second week. We got football tonight. I'm excited. I think to me that's like when the weekend starts. Now it's okay. It's Thursday. Yes, I have to work Friday, but come on, I'm already in football mode. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for more football, and I'm excited, man. It's so good that it feels so good that the season's back.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on a cadence. We're on a cadence. All right. Appreciate you guys listening to us. Good luck this week. Be back next week, same time, same place. See ya.